Hello everyone, we are here, we are live, we are ready to go. Welcome everybody in the chat, welcome everybody watching this at a later date. And yeah, starting in a bit of an unusual place, we are in the Research and Development Center, specifically in the archive section, because I've been promising over the last 2 or 3 streams I'm going to get into trying to get more science. So I thought I'd sort of lay out kind of what the plan is going to be here quickly before getting into it, now that I'm no longer being distracted by putting Kerbals in stupid orbits and having to go rescue them and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm here at the moon. I've selected the moon and specifically the situation surface landed to show that I've not been in too many places on the moon. I've got the telemetry report selected here because that's something that is biome specific on the surface. And you can see I've only been in 5 different biomes on the surface of the moon with relatively, these were pretty early. I only got temperature scans and seismic scans down there, and that's about it. And in fact, if I take a look, for instance, at the EVA report, which is something you would need a Kerbal for, I only have one. I've only ever put a crewed lander down in the northwest crater, and that is it. And that's why I'm thinking the moon is a good target for me for collecting more science. With the eventual goal, I always have this sort of grand idea with this stream, whether I'll ever get there or not, but the technology is there later in the tech tree to build a base that is reasonably self-sufficient. And that's kind of where I want to go to. I'm just running into a roadblock with science. So I'm thinking a good first target would be the moon. And if that turns out not to be enough, and I'm now thinking well down the road, I'm probably just going to have to stock some Kerbals up with a whole lot of supplies and send them to something interplanetary. And I think the 3 easiest targets are either Gilly, Duna, or Ike, or some combination of the 2. But that's going to be probably several streams into the future to really sort of take advantage of the moon and get a lot of landers down there. I need to build a base in orbit around the moon. I don't need to, but I think this is the funner way to do it. Build a station in orbit about the moon, have a lot of fuel there, have a lander that can go down, fuel up, come back up, have a lab there, process the samples that are being done, send those samples back. I did that with MIMMIS, turned into quite a bit of science. So that's sort of my eventual goal now, a few streams down the road for the moon. But the base is really just partially hobbled together around an asteroid. It's really not that great. So in the interim, so that's going to be not this stream, but in the interim, I want to build up that space station around the moon. But I want to still get some other science. So I do have a few contracts here that I think will help. One is this simply putting a polar satellite in orbit around Kerbin. That is easy enough. And I now have unlocked the mapping antenna that comes with stock for mapping resources. Again, harvesting resources and processing them is part towards building up self-sufficiency in space. So I think maybe getting up some of those, getting around Kerbin just to start, but then around the moon and probably around MIMMIS else would be a good idea. And there's also science that comes from Kerbalism associated with that. I also have get some science data from the surface of the moon contract and an uncrewed land on the moon and bring some science back or transmit some science back. I'm thinking maybe a rover. So this is sort of what I'm thinking to get the science ball rolling a little bit with some low-lying fruit, as it were, with doing some mapping. And then sending an uncrewed craft to the moon, landing in a biome I've not been in yet. And also doing some of the science that's associated with that part. So, yeah, that's kind of the plan for at least the next couple of streams and then getting into this. So let me take a look at, or show you what I'm talking about as far as is that a new mod to see the science I'm seeing in the, no, that is stock, that archive that is there. That just go to the R&D and push the archive button. That is right there. Okay, so just pull out my Octo probe. Let's take a look at the science equipment I'm thinking about. I also have the infrared telescope. I gotta do something with that too, but I am thinking, there it is, the M700 scanner. This is a stock part for doing an orbital survey and seeing where resources are. And I have ScanSat installed, and it'll work with that as well. But I also have, if I configure orbital scanner, there is a science experiment. This comes from Kerbalism, called the Beep experiment. The biome exclusive experiment package. It is biome specific, specifically for space low biomes. Unfortunately, it takes well over a year, like more than a year and a half, to collect all the science that's available. So it's a slow burn. It's a slow collector. But I thought, just to get started, let's put a probe with this thing on it, with this Beep experiment, in and around Kerbin, send maybe it out towards the moon, and then I'll start thinking about maybe building a rover. So that's what I'm thinking about for today. So the first thing is to make sure that this thing can do what it needs to do. So taking a look, I do have some information here. Like for instance, let's take a look at this. I think it's under here. If I look at not the resource survey. No, what's a good button to look at? Sorry, I'm still getting used to all this stuff. Close that. This is the science archive from Kerbalism. If I take a look at the Beep, there we go. Is that all the same data I have here? Oh, it is. It's everything that's the same here. This is what I'm looking for, the data rate. It creates data at 305 bits per second. So I want to do an antenna that will have to always... I get into this mistake always with picking an antenna that doesn't match this data rate requirement, and then you end up storing the data and it fills up. But the Communitron can transmit at 2.2 kilobytes per second, so this can do it easily. So you know what, I'm just going to put 2 of them because I don't know what the scanner requires. So we'll put on a couple of these. Extend, okay. We also need to put on enough battery storage for it to last through the Kerbin night, and I worked that out to be based on how much electricity it uses. It uses a fair amount, 1.92 electric charge per second. I worked out that I need about, let me see, I did work this out somewhere. Yeah, about 16, 17, let's call it 1,800 units of electric charge. And my biggest is this guy. So let's think, how am I going to do that? Let's say this is 200. So if I put on 3 of these, I'm making this up as I go along, and some sort of a transition part. There we go. That is how many units of, oh, that's 21 units, 100 units of electric charge. I guess there's some electric charge in the probe body. That is 1,900 units, 16. I think I can take off one more of these. Oh, that'll help. 1,700 units of electric charge. That's, you know what? Put one back. Put one back. I've always cutting this stuff too tight. There we go. So that will do the electric charge. I also need generation to not only cover this 1.92 units of electric charge that this is going to use up, but also to cover what it takes to recharge these batteries over the night. And I worked that out to be, where did I work that out to be? I think about 6.5. Yeah, I did. Yep. Oh no, 3.73 units of electric charge. There we go. I can look this stuff up. So if I get to these guys, these are 1.6 each. So I think that would be 3.2. That's not quite enough. So I'm gonna go 3. So I'm gonna go with 2 racks of these. I might need to put in more structural parts. Yeah, let's lift that up. Put in some of these cubic octagonal. I can't stop, but yeah, those octagonal struts. A couple more like that. That's the ticket. Move these. Whoops. Move these up a little bit so they have some room to rotate, and also take this scanner and rotate it like that. So when this is open, the solar panels, for the most part, have some space below that. And there is a tool down here. According to this, yeah, we produce now 3 point... Is it counting all this? What was this last time? Can't... I don't know. It's... Whatever. I'm gonna... 1.6 times 4 is not 3.4, whatever this is. It's taken... I don't know what it's doing. I'm gonna ignore all that. Okay. So... I'm thinking this is largely a probe. Let's put some lights on it before I like lights. Put some lights down here. Blinky lights. There we go. Okay. Oh, I want to have on my KOS scriptable control surface. Stick that. Where are you? Here you go. Stick that in there, there. We're gonna up the carrying capacity up to 10 kilobytes, and we're gonna install boot file number 1. I do have a checklist over here. I should make sure I'm paying some attention to what's going on here. So this thing, oh, reaction wheels. It has no reaction wheels aboard because there are no reaction wheels in this. I think what I'm gonna do, take that off. And use the small inline reaction wheels, which are hiding here somewhere. There we go. There, I think that's good. Okay, so it's got control, it's got KOS. The probe has been configured. Oh, this. Configure the probe. There are no unmanned experiments that are worth doing anymore. I'm pretty darn sure. Yeah, I've done all this stuff. At least around Kerbin I have. Probe has been configured, science has been thought of, power generation has been thought of, electrical storage, antenna strength, antenna speeds has been thought of, data storage has been thought of, propulsion. Okay, let's get into propulsion. So we want something that's capable of getting itself into a polar orbit about Kerbin. I'm going to budget about 38. What kind of antenna height does this thing have? I should look at that. We do have an asteroid. I have an asteroid with a hub attached to it around the moon. I would not yet call it a station. That is something for the future. But for now, I just want to start getting some more science happening. Kind of what we're doing. Somewhere along here talks about its ideal height. There we go. Best height. Oh, but it needs to be in low space. So I'm going to put it in an altitude of about 200 kilometers. Should be fine. If I can put on about 4,000 meters per second, that should be fine. Let's see what happens. If I get into, let's arrange these by mass, because this isn't very much. Can I get away with, oh, there's no way I can get away with that little guy. Let's put structurally one of these back on here on the bottom. There's no way I'm getting away with just that little amount of fuel, but I just love that little can and an ant engine on the bottom. What's that going to do for me? 185 thrust to weight 2.26. Yeah. No. We'll do a little bit more involved than that. What happens with an Oscar B and a couple of these spiders? Oh wait, I got the spark. What happens with the spark on the bottom? Throw the ant away. 1.9, that's maybe a better plan then, as I make things up, is one of the flatter, I guess that's the flattest, yeah, that might be, that's, I don't know, that's not stupid. Might just go with that. And get that structural bit back. I might just go with this. I like the minimal look on these engines when they're just orbitals. We'll just go like that. Oh, the solar, that's just the way I rotated the solar panels. I'm being asked why are they like that. It's just the way they'll rotate the right way when... Oh, that was just... I rotate them that way so that when they're retracted... this is a little bit on top of each other. Maybe I should rotate this back the other way. Now that that is being drawn attention to... I always push the wrong button first. Oh, for goodness sakes. Maybe that will look better like that. Sure, why not? There we go. Okay, that's not... This can be closed. I don't need that to be open anymore. That's a lot. I just need to put a little booster on the bottom of this thing. So let's put on... What do I got for boosters? Oh, wait, I need a fairing of some kind. Do I want to take the fairing? No, I don't. I'm going to do this. A decoupler with, I guess, the 1.25 meter fairing. Track these antennas. Yeah, just straight up. Oh, I think I need to get around. There. Okay, now I need to slap a booster under this. I'm hoping this will all go pretty quick now. Looking at my booster collection and organizing by, there's my smallest one there. Is this going to get the job done? That's a total of 4,700 meters per second of delta V. That is way more than I need. Okay. We'll give this a test in a little bit. So what I think I might just do is just start emptying tanks. Why not? I need about 4 grand. There, that's enough. Thrust away. Every once in a while I take a look at chat, make sure that I'm not doing something stupid that someone's pointing out. And let's see, go through this. I got propulsion taken care of, RCS doesn't matter, parachutes doesn't matter, thermal protection doesn't matter. I did put lights on it. Upgrades, it doesn't need any upgrades. Thrust to weight ratios. Ooh, let's check. Get rid of this for now. That's on the bottom. That goes next. That's the fairing. That makes perfect sense. What is this? Goes with here. Why do I... What is... Oh, wait. It has a second decoupler here that is completely... No. Come back. That is not necessary. There we go. That's making some sense. Yeah. Delta V is still good. TWR is a little on the low side. Not much on the low side, but a little bit on the low side. There we go. Okay, thrust to weights dealt with, fairing deploy. I gotta put this on an action group 5 for the script, which you'll see very shortly. People haven't been seeing my launch script of late. I'll spend some time with it. So this is going to be to deploy the fairing while I'm thinking about the fairing. Up the number of sides, up the ejection force. Clamshell deploy. Okay, where's my checklist? Here we go. Fairing deploy, staging I just checked. And fine print on the contract. The only contract I am looking at right now is this polar contract, and launch a new vessel, it's uncrewed, achieve a polar orbit with an inclination between 85 and 95 degrees. Easy peasy, lemony squeezy. So that's all that's going to be to that. So I think my checklist is taken care of. I'm thinking this is a thing. So I have no idea what the call is. This is the Octo 2 Kerbal maps at? Because I have no imagination. There we go. All right, so we're going to give this a test. Make sure that this is... scanner likes to load deployed. Oh, okay, I'll check on that, Michael. Thank you. So, I also, speaking of action groups and deployment, I should, in the 0 action group, which is what I like to do once I'm clear of the atmosphere, I'm going to toggle these antennas, and we'll deploy all of these solar panels. Oh, they just extend, but that makes sense. They aren't the ones that retract again. And I'll deploy this one by hand. I'll start it all by hand. Yeah. Okay. Save. Just check that the experiment has not been started yet. Nope, everything is stopped. Okay. All right, let's see what we got. So let's hit the simulator from the crash simulator. So if I crash, if I blow up, if whatever, then that doesn't count. Welcome, Natalia. What we are doing is we are building just a very simple resource mapping satellite, and if all and it's going to do a little bit of science for us too. And if all goes well, we'll fire this thing off to the moon as well. That's the plan. Okay, so I got my KOS script. All I need to do is run my launch script. I believe I put in the inclination first, which is 90 degrees. My target apoapsis, didn't I say something like 200 kilometers? That sounds familiar. And a normal attitude. Hopefully I put those numbers in right. And this should take care of the rest. Yeah, and I'll bring up my contracts. I think I have the ScanSat contract pack. ScanSat contract pack. I do believe I do have it installed. At least I think I do. Look at those lovely exhausts. That looks just great. But this is just a generic put in a polar orbit thing. Kerbalism, to my knowledge, still doesn't get along well with ScanSat. ScanSat works, but you just don't get the science through Kerbalism. I don't really know what that is about. Yeah, those plumes are from Waterfall. Actually, somebody in a comment suggested that I should also install Real Plume to cover the engines that Waterfall doesn't get. So I have not done that. I was thinking about it, and then I forgot to do that. By the way, another thing that I've been doing in the interim, though I've not put too much time into it, is designing a launch script for my space plane. So the space plane will take off from the runway and insert itself into orbit all by itself. I'm hoping that will speed up the when I fly the space plane, and which won't be happening today. Today's going to be all non-Kerbals, but I'm hoping that will sort of speed up that process. It seems to be going well. I've got it right now cutting off at about 20 kilometers, which is around the time where I would want to go to closed cycle mode and switch on the rocket engines with the spaceplane. But I'm in the process now of tweaking the ascent parameters, like what pitch should I be at in the lower part of the atmosphere, what pitch should I be at when I get up in the higher part of the atmosphere and really want to build up speed, where should that transition happen. So I'm twiddling around with those and seeing what works best, and then after that I think the rest of it will be pretty easy, because after that I'm just going to borrow from this launch script and follow the same profile that this thing does. Because I think once you get above about 25-30 kilometers, the spaceplane basically just turns into a rocket. All right, this is working pretty good. So far, so good. What mod am I using for the clouds? It is Scatterer with the Environmental Visual Enhancements mod, which has all kinds of settings associated with it. Did my engine just turn off? I'm out of fuel. Oh, I know what I forgot. This is why I test. That thing just ran out of fuel, which is actually was to be totally predicted. This thing is going to do a lot of the work here. But my launch script doesn't detect staging events. I have to use a smart part for that. Why didn't I have smart parts on my on my checklist? I don't know. Okay, so I'll have to get back and do some smart parts. All right, I'm just going to see if this thing inserts itself okay. Seems to be... No, it seems to be doing a pretty good job. Seems to be doing all right. Little spark engine just working away up here. Let's give it a little bit of time acceleration. Remember, this is going all the way up to 200 kilometers here. I'm a little worried that I might end up passing my apoapsis. My script ain't too smart and may not notice that I might be stopping. Oh, wait. Time to apoapsis has just stopped at 22. It's now starting to climb. Good. And that was because there was a period of time, I don't know, it was a good 4 or 5 seconds, I think, at least, that I was not under thrust. Okay. Almost there. And should be in an inclined orbit of 89 degrees. That meets these parameters. Okay. All I want to do is get up to 70. At 70, it should set up this should set up a maneuver node to do the final circularization. I just want to make sure I have enough delta V. And if I do, we're going to go back. We're going to do a couple of tweaks, and then we're going to do this thing for real. Okay, almost in space. There we go. Whoa! It whips around pretty quick. Might want to toggle those reaction wheels. Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, it's 15 minutes away. That's right. Okay, so this... Okay, 96 meters. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so if we do a few fixes, I'm sure this will be fine. So we're going to terminate this simulation. Yep. We're going to do a couple of tweaks, and that should be good. I might just turn down the reaction force on those reaction wheels, because that really whipped around pretty sillily. There we go. So small inline reaction wheels. Let's see here. Let's turn this authority limiter down to 1/3. How about this? I didn't like the color there. White. Dark. Dark is better. That's even way better. Dark, dark. Okay, and also, oh, a smart part. Do I not have smart parts on my my toggle list here? Ah, silly person. So I want the fuel sensor. Put the fuel sensor right here. Boink. So the fuel sensor here will wait for the liquid fuel resource to get down to 0, and then it'll stage for me. So I don't have to. Yeah, there's reaction wheels tucked in there. Okay. So let's save this. I think I'm ready to go. Let's launch this. Uh-oh, Saucy says he had a Kraken attack his lunar base. I have a Minmus base that I have contracts to expand upon it. Minmus is a very sensible place to have a base. But it has been very sketchy with Kraken-y nonsense ever since I put it there. And it's just, there's no Kerbals on it, thank goodness. So 90, 200, and N. Okay. Here we go. So this is a repeat of what we just saw, but it is what it is. What is in that? Natalie is pointing out that is the Kraken Valley base. So the Kraken Valley base was just built to satisfy a contract to build a base. It can hold 5 Kerbals. It has power generation and antennas. That's about it. And then I put docking ports on it with the idea of extending upon it. I have no real plan for it at all. There was a reason why I put it where it was that had to do with contracts as well. But it's been very Kraken-y where it is. So I've been kind of pretending it's not there. But yeah, I ended up calling the valley that it's in on Minmus the Kraken Valley because of all the nonsense that's happened there. But I'm nervous about putting Kerbals there. Okay. What is the auto launch mod? This is Kerbal operating system KOS. What it is a programming language that works within the bounds of KSP. So this is a launch script, a launch program that I wrote, that I've been tweaking and modifying over the years. I'm now very, very happy with it. So it's not quite McJeb because you are the one that has to program it, or you can get somebody else's, but this is mine, and I'm very happy and very proud of it. Okay, where are we at? Now this time, when this fuel runs out, this thing should stage. So I'll be on the lookout for that. And it doesn't just do launch scripts, of course, KOS. It can do anything. It's limited really only by your imagination and your programming skills. Of which I have little of both, I'll be quite frank. How did you learn KOS? I learned programming back in back when I was a teenager and in my 20s, and just kind of extended on that, learning different languages over the... I've never been a professional programmer. Programming was never my... It was always a hobby more than it was a profession. Definitely was never a profession because I never got paid for doing anything. But it's a skill that I've always been interested in, and it didn't stage. There we go. Stinker. I don't know why the KOS part failed for some reason. That's okay. I think we're okay. I don't know Lua there, Fly Retro Gamer. I do not know that programming language. Like, to show you where I am in my programming, my first programming language I learned when I was in grade 12 in high school, when our high schools got their first computers. See, I'm now making myself old. Was BASIC, and I mean basic. And then in university, I learned Pascal and Fortran. So that is where my background is. In later years, I taught myself things like Java, a little bit of C, and things like that, which of course helps because those are a little more modern. But I am not up on my programming languages in the slightest. You know what? When this is done, I'll show you the actual script. I can't do it while it's running, but I'll show you the actual script for this. I'm not going to go over it in details, but that'll at least give people kind of a look-see at it. Okay, how are we doing here? We are slowly gaining, and yeah. This is now pushing up the Apple axis time very, very quickly. KerboScript, yes, that is the name of the programming language, Michael has pointed out. And it's an object-oriented language. It's very specifically oriented around KSP, with all kinds of functions to help with doing the kinds of things you would be doing in KSP. Okay, this is going to kill it at 200 kilometers. Boink, there it goes. And we are almost in space, too. Whoa. That might not have been a fair thing. That whipped around again really quickly because I had I had the physics warp on at the time. Okay, and now, yeah, let's get out to this maneuver. Our periapsis is already very high at 66 kilometers, so it's a very, very, only 100 meter per second burn. Okay. Then we'll fire off this satellite, and then we'll look at getting one out towards the moon. But I will show people this. Once this is done, I'll have access to the terminal window. It's just about to do that final insertion here. Got 20 seconds to the insertion. Yeah, I like it with the sun shining on me and the blue planet there. And the lens flare. Makes me think I'm in a J.J. Abrams movie. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and there we go. Okay, that should be good. Switching to vessel. Program has ended. So just to show people, this is now done. It's inserted. Did it look? Oh yeah, 201 by 200 kilometers. I'm happy with that. I can list. We'll go back to the switch to 0. That's the volume that the program's in, because it automatically switched the volume to the vessel. I know that launch script isn't there. And all I have to do is edit launch, I believe is the name of the program. There we go. So this is what the programming language looks like down here. They give you a little editing window for you to... There we go. I did my best to document it. I thought I did pretty good with that. But it is sort of a C-based type of languages, as a lot of modern languages are. You can tell it's a lot longer than this. You can edit the program in this editor here, but honestly, it's much, much better to use an external editor. Okay. Meanwhile, this is done. Why don't we... oh, you know what? I do have, speaking of KO, all these programs I keep forgetting because I went through a whole stage where I was playing nothing but stock. But if I go back... Why is it not... There we go. Switch it back to the vessel. I have an align, run, align, D for dorsal. Oh, look at that. This is for aligning up solar panels. Well, that didn't work. Okay, so, okay. I think I have to roll this way. Okay, so that's going to be for the solar panels there. Close that. And now what we can do is open up this scanner. We're going to start the beep experiment. I'm going to watch over here, and what I'm particularly concerned with is electricity. It still says perpetual here, and now I'm going to start the resource scanner. And there is an unmet requirement. I told you Kerbalism doesn't work well with... What is the unmet requirement for the resource scanner? I have no idea. So something's wrong with the resource scanner. I don't know what it is. I'll have to investigate that, but I am collecting data with this beep experiment, so at least that's something, and that data will get collected in the background, and this thing will continually generate a little bit of science for me. So let's get back to the Space Center. I'll have to investigate what's going on with the resource scanner. It might not be working well with Kerbalism. Click the info button. Oh, I'll try. Let's see. We're going to go back. We're going to make one for the moon. That's what we're going to do. See if we can jack this thing up and get it to the moon. Doodle's asking, am I excited for KSP2 next year? Yes, I am very, very eager to get my grubby little hands on KSP2. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to take this. Let's just throw it away for now. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to jack this up. 13.9. So get to the moon. It's 860 plus 280. There we go. 1140. Jeepers! If this thing can get to the moon just like this, if I can get into orbit, let's get back this. Put this fuel back in. This might be really quick. Okay, there's not enough fuel in this stage. I might have to step up my booster a little bit. Yeah, I do. Okay, so we're going to lose this. Go to my next level of booster. This is, I save my boosters here, arrange them by mass, and then they're by... So this is the exact same booster, but... Oh, I threw away the... Here. Time out for a second. Control Z. Control Z. Control Z. Control Z. Control Z. Control Z. There we go. I threw away the fairing. I shouldn't have done that. So this is actually the same booster, but the pair of just hammer SRBs there on the side. And that should be enough. That should just, this should get me into an orbit about the moon. I think this should handle nicely. I don't think I'm going to do anything else to this. Let's get down. Let's put on a smart part, even though... Oh, no, we won't do that. No. Let's get rid of our checklist. Now, why? Yeah. Why did that fail, the resource scanner? Just want to do a very quick experiment, or not experiment, just a look-see. Resource survey, data packet size, data rate. Oh, the data rate is really high. That could be my problem. That could be my problem. All right. That might be why the other one failed. Well, I'm not interested in resources around Kerbin anyway. See, their data transfer rate is 4.63, though the communitrons, that might be what my issue was. Let's take this off. Let's see if we can up the transmission rate of this. So I didn't pay any attention to the transmission rate for that. That might have been what the problem was. So if I go into, what is the transmission? This is 25 kilobits per second. Right there. Like that. So I'm thinking, oh, you know what? I'm also not thinking about, this still says perpetual duration. What's the electricity consumption on this? This is how I get myself into trouble, because I'm in a rush and I don't do things. It's not much. Okay. That might have been the problem with that. And I'm also going to up the storage capacity on my little hard drive. Okay, now that's still enough to easily get to the moon. It is. Okay. I think that might have been the problem, was a transmission issue. Oh, it might have been above 200 meters. Oh, Natalia, thank you. Thank you, Natalia. Natalia is pointing out. Let me do one thing at a time here, because I'm really bad at doing multiple things at a time. So let's toggle this antenna with the zero action group. But Natalia is pointing out in the chat that the resource scanner, where were you, needs to be under No, it needs to be. It says ScanSat resource scanner, resource survey, max altitude 200 kilometers. I think I was looking at this one, where it says between 15, but here it does say max altitude 200 kilometers, and it might have been just a smidge over 200 kilometers. I think you might be correct. That might be the issue. But what we'll do is we'll send this fella out towards the moon. I'm noticing that the staging is an absolute disaster. What else is new there? That. Oh no, that makes sense. That's the, yep. That's the radio boosters in the bottom. That's the fairing, that. Okay, there we go. This should do it. Let's check our launch TWR and just launch this. Oh, it's 1.33 already. Okay, we're just gonna do it. This is not, this is a Munar mapsat now. Launch. I'm not even gonna test it. Not even gonna test it. Yes. I'm going. I'm going. We're going. So I'll go back and check on that one satellite and make sure that it is under 200 kilometers all the way around. That might be the issue. I think it's going to have a problem anyway because of the transmission. Well, I could send a Kerbal out there and attach a different antenna. Oh, that might be fun. That might be fun. Launch clamps in the staging. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Launch clamps in the staging were messed up. Okay, now that. Yep, that would have been entertaining. Okay, this is ready to go. So we are going into 0 inclination this time because this fella's heading to the moon. Just an 80-kilometer orbit and go. And off. And I do like having this launch script. That's why I want to have it for the space plane, because it just gives me this opportunity. I don't have to concentrate on what I'm doing. I can engage and talk with you folks. Is this pitching the right way? Yes, it is. It's just something to do with that camera angle. Fly Retro Gamer is saying, yeah. Even though you might think everything will work, I would still recommend you still check that if everything worked. But I just like the staging there that just didn't happen. But I was quick on the draw that time. Yeah, I could have the script check for the loss of thrust and then stage. But it already is looking for a loss of thrust because there is an automatic abort system built into the script that I put in there. And I couldn't figure out a way to get it to detect when it loses thrust, whether that was supposed to happen because of a staging event or whether it was an engine failure. So I kept the abort portion of it, but lost the staging portion of it. But then I keep forgetting to put smart parts on it. Now, well, it's going anyway. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's the one thing with Kerbalism. It gives me lots more opportunities to make mistakes, and this would not be entertaining enough if I didn't make more enough mistakes and have to go around fixing it. I am seriously considering firing a Kerbal up to that satellite and sticking on an antenna. Because even if we do get the orbit to be right and get the scanner to work, I really, really have a feeling that I really do have a feeling that it's not going to work properly anyway, because I think it's going to generate data way too quickly. And retrofitting it with a Kerbal is something to think about. There is no Kerbal Space Program without fail. Kerbal Space Program teaches you how to fail with grace. Actually, what it really does teach you is how to learn from failure. I mean, the whole game is about making mistakes and then learning from those mistakes. But it makes the watching a fail, I know sometimes, oh, that was pretty that time. I know sometimes can be frustrating, but honestly, sometimes it's really entertaining. I've never had a game where I fail as much as I do and actually laugh when those fails happen. Okay, where are we at here? We're doing okay. We're doing okay. Apple Wapsis is almost at 80 kilometers here. There we go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That is some crazy shaking. Did you see that? A little bit of physics fun happening there. Wow. Okay. Knock that stuff off. Okay, here we go. Deploying junks. Alright. With our much better antenna, and we got a little bit of time until we do this insertion. There's enough fuel in this stage to get it inserted. That's cool. So we'll use part of this stage to go to the moon too. There we go. Failing with style. Yeah. That's what KSP is all about. So we'll send this thing off to the moon, and then we'll check on that other satellite that we put in. Now, the one thing with this one is this beep experiment only works in low space, but I saw the minimum requirement for the scanner is 50 kilometers. Low space for the moon is like 63 kilometers, so I'm going to be aiming for something like maybe a 55 kilometer orbit. Okay, there's that. 80 by 80. Nicely done script. Okay, so this is happy. It's even got the solar panels nicely exposed. That is great. Okay, let's turn stuff off. And let's get this to the moon. What does beep stand for? I did look what beep was standing for in the VAB, but I have forgotten. I read it out at the beginning. I don't think it tells you here, does it? No, it doesn't tell you what beep stands for. I read it at the beginning of this. It tells you in the VAB, but I have forgotten. Okay. Oh, wait, that's min-miss. Focus view on the moon. So we're going to go for a polar orbit. So that means at this point, the goal is going to be to smack the moon right in the face. Smack him in the face like that. And then we'll use an orbital correction to... well, that's about as far as that. I think that looked pretty good right about there. That looks good to me. And then we'll use an orbital correction to actually come... I guess we'll be coming north of the moon, go into our polar orbit. So that burn's coming up in just 25 minutes. Now, we're going to turn this off. There is a staging event partway through this burn, and my KOS script does not handle staging events very well, so I am going to do this manually. So let's get to this maneuver. And by it doesn't handle the staging events very well, it doesn't start the burn at the right time because it calculates... KSP calculates the burn time right based upon the different fuel consumption rates of the two stages. But my script doesn't. I found someone puzzled it out on my Discord, and I've yet to fix it. But the staging was just... I found the staging, the way it worked, was just confusing as heck. Okay. Alright, so have ourselves a 45-second burn. I think I'll start a little early because I think I got a huge TW. I have a huge... Here, let's nerf this. There we go. That's much more sane. Okay. And now we're starting to burn a little bit earlier. 3 and go. Just it was like well over 4 the thrust to weight ratio on this stage now that it's almost empty. I didn't want to do that. And stage. Oh, it's a double stage for some reason. That's why the smart part was failing. I love the reflection. See how there's the light from the exhaust is reflected in that part? It looks just awesome. Makes you realize how many little things KSP could do to make the game just look a little bit better. Just a little bit better. Okay. Biome exclusive experiment package. Thank you for that interpretation of the beep. Okay, but we are closing in here. Okay, slow that down. And cut. All right, nice, nice, nice. Okay, and what we need is a bit of a correction partway along here. I can get a maneuver down. And we're going to go for 50 let me think. Probably about 58 kilometers. Because that scanner needs to be in a at least 50 kilometer, but more than 60, what is it, 62 or something like that, is now going to be high space, and then the beep experiment doesn't work. So I have to be a little bit particular about my orbit. Just going to move this around to get the it's pretty much right in a good spot anyway. I've done enough of these to kind of know where the good spot. So I'm going to go for 50. There we go. 56.86. That's fine. And I can try and see if I can make this a little more looking like it's like really perpendicular here. We're good with that. That looks good to me. Okay, so that burn's coming out in 1 hour and 29 minutes. Let's check to make sure this guy's got some nice solar exposure. It does. It's not running any experiments yet, so it doesn't need all of those anyway. Let's jump over. No, put an alarm for the maneuver. Give me a couple minutes warning. And let's jump over to the other mapping satellite, right here, and see if we can fix that orbit. Okay, so this needs to be, yeah, it's over 200 kilometers all the way around. So that is why that's not working. All right, so let's see what happens if I put this on a little bit of retrogradeness. This isn't going to be much of a change. I'm going to put the thrust limiter way down. We'll get our periapsis down below. Let's go with like 195. That's good enough. Re-expose those solar panels. Oh, I'm still stuck on retrograde here. Whee. Oh my gosh, I don't know what there we go. That's what I'm aiming for. Okay, and, well, sort of. Just trying to get good exposure on these solar panels. I don't want to, yeah, these are always taking radiation. I've learned to ignore that. That's life is taking radiation damage. Okay, let's get to periapsis. It is 19 minutes away. I'm going to up the thrust again a little bit because I noticed it was spectacularly low when I did that. Then we'll see if we can run this scanner. So, yeah. Get close to periapsis. We'll bring down our apoapsis below 200. I still think this thing's not going to work right. Ooh, that was... Oh, be careful. How many ignitions do you got here? Oh, still a lot of ignitions, and this thing doesn't have to go anywhere after this, so... That's good. Okay. So now we are below 200 all the way around. Let's do some stuff for our solar panels here. Like so, and like so. That should work well. And if we go to here, oh, now our resource scanner is working. It is now running. That is good. But my guess is if I take a look at my data, It's at 93% capacity. My guess is that that hard drive will fill up. It's got a 1.45 megabyte hard drive on it. And what's going to happen is that's going to fill up over time. Because yes, it is not transmitting the data as quickly as it's collecting it. And then at that point, stuff's going to shut down. So we do need to get a better antenna on here. Well, let's get back to our Moon one. We'll see if that one works any better. See, this is all about learning from the mistakes. But at least it's kind of working now. Go to there. Can you try and make a base planter? I'm sorry, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. Yeah, set up the autos for stopping the... That's a good plan. You can do that from here. Here, I'll show people that too. If I go back to my Kerbal mapper, don't go to it though. But there is a... Is it under configure? That's right. No, auto. If... I gotta remember how this all works. Yes, if the hard drive... Let's keep going here. If the drive is below 10%, what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the resource scanner. The beep should be fine because it should be able to transmit that quick enough. And then when the drive is above 85%, we're going to turn on the resource scanner. So you can automate this a little bit. That should help. Okay. Thank you, Dan, for pointing that out to me. But right now, we're going to go back to the Mooner one and see if it works. It's all a little bit better. So where are we? Oh, yes, we got to get out to here. So let's get out and do that. Orbital correction. Some info here. I do like the way the science works with Kerbalism, but boy, it does take a lot to think about. That's good. Okay, and no, it's not quite. Still don't have the probe body that can just snap to. There. Okay, and we'll take a look at the moon. Oh, let's turn off all of this distraction. Focus our view here, and again, we are shooting for that polar orbit. We can basically start whenever we want. We don't have to wait. And we can take our time with this one too. It's not time urgent. So I'm going to wait for that periapsis to appear there. See if I can click on it without actually stopping the engine. Come here, come here, come here. There we go. And I don't know, I said like 58 or something like that. That's good. And it looks perpendicular-ish. It does. Okay. F5 that one. And let's get ourselves to that SOI. So we should be able to... Whoa, that went fast. Oh, it automatically does the time warpy thing. Or the... Makes a stock alarm. Oh, it put an alarm in Kerbal Alarm Clock too. You see that? These two are working together. It did the same thing in both. That's interesting. Except this one. Oh, there we go. Yeah, delete that alarm. Okay. And here's where I can show off my KOS script. It's coming back to me. Some more of my things I wrote is I do have a program to create the circularization burn. Run circ at periapsis, I believe, is what I need to type in. Look at that! Wonderful. So there we go. It is, yeah, 59-ish kilometers all the way around. Okay. And I had put this thrust limiter back. Yeah, 14 seconds. Oh, I should be paying attention to my solar panels. They seem to be okay, but really, that was not cool to where I had it. There. Okay, let's get down there. Do this burn. Let's turn this off and turn that on and take away alarm clock. Don't need that no more. Let's just go down here. I'm being asked, what GPU do I have? I've honestly forgot. I'm really bad at that kind of stuff, like just remembering all that stuff. I'm gonna run my maneuver execution script and then I'll think about what my GPU is. It is. I do have a what's the sticker on it? I'm looking at my box. Ryzen 7. It got a sticker on the box that says Ryzen 7. How's that? I'm terrible. I'm bad. It's funny that I'm a math person, but I really just do not have. I just really do not have a good head for numbers. I forget my phone number. I forget postal codes. I forget my license plates. Like I just suck. I like math with a minimal amount of numbers in them. Okay, what are we doing here? Okay, we got our capture. And it's 59 on the periapsis. And should be about 59. Yeah, nice job. Nice job, little script. Okay, and then we'll get rid of that. And we'll also orient this once again for solar panel purposes. And we'll turn things on. And hopefully see how this works. If it works at all better. Now I want to... yeah, go that way. Get some good solar panel. The problem with the solar panels the way they are is eventually this thing will maneuver itself into a position where the one solar panel will occlude the other one. But such is life. Okay, let's get over to here to auto, and we're going to turn on the beep experiment. That is much less of a problem. And we're going to turn on the resource. Oh wait, I'm in the silly person. Oh, I'm still on. That's because I'm still trying to program it. I got to go back to devices. There we go. Running that and running the resource scanner. And I'm hoping this thing I also put on a bigger hard drive too. So we should have, where's our data thing here? We have a much bigger hard drive. And if I do a little bit of time warping, the hard drive is staying at 100%. Right? So that's because I got the better antenna on it. So that better antenna is really doing a good job of transmitting it as quickly as it's collecting it. Now, one of the issues I do have, and this might be a thing for a future too, is if I put on my relays around the moon are kind of a mess. Right now it has a direct connection to Kerbin and will for a little while because of the orbit that we're in. That's nice. I'm not going to end up in the moon's shadow for a bit. But at some point this will end up in the moon's communication shadow. And then it's going to have to use a relay antenna. And I know I got the crappiest relays on these relays antennas. And I might run into a bit of a problem with relay strength because of the crappy antennas on here. And what I might want to do in order to really start collecting the science is upgrade these, but that's going to have to be for the future. For now, this thing is fine. So I'm going to go back to the Space Center. And I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking it might be fun to see if I can get a Kerbal to go up and fix that other mapping satellite so it doesn't run into its data problems. I said I was going to do a Kerbal free. stream, and I'm lying. But I'm hoping people aren't disappointed with the fact that I'm lying about that. That putting Kerbals in space is always going to be worth a laugh or two. Or three. We'll see. Now, here, let's get this going. Okay, so one of the issues, though, I do have with putting a Kerbal up there is that it's in a polar orbit. My space plane has no hope of getting into a polar orbit about Kerbin. Absolutely none. That space plane you've seen for the last little while. And although I have Jeb and Bill in a station, well, ooh, that might work. Oh, now, okay, there, I could get a space plane to, I could get something to Jeb and Bill. Jeb and Bill do have a craft that has about a couple of kilometers of delta V on it. It might be able to get there. Oh, okay, let's see what I got for vessels. This is it. So the two plans are going to be to send up a little probe up to my space station where Jeb and Bill are. They can take the Nerve 1, which has about a couple of kilometers of delta V on it, and that should be enough to kind of get it up into that polar orbit, I think. I'm a little nervous about it. We'll see. Or I could send up one of my really old crafts. And this was like a long... This is going to be just something with... I have no idea what I have. What do I got for... I name them always after engines. I got the Terrier 1A3. Oh my god, I'm nervous about this. I don't know if I want to send somebody up in this thing. So, yikes. So this, believe it or not, is what I had. It can hold 2 Kerbals. So that is one option. Do I have a better option? Do I have a better option? What else do I got for vehicles? So that's this vehicle. I'm not sure I have something better. What? Oh, I got the Puff 2. Ooh, the Puff 2. The Puff 2 is a little tiny space plane like this. Ooh, that can hold up to 6 Kerbals. That's a thought. Oh, now I'm getting excited. I got a Pug 1A3. That doesn't sound encouraging. Oh, look at that. The Pug 1A3 can hold up to 4 Kerbals? No, only 2 Kerbals. Oh, that's older. That's older. Okay, let's go. What else? What other options do I have? My vessels that I put Kerbals in are always named after the engines, so that's how I can tell. What on earth is the Kerbal 1? That must be a lander of some kind. Oh my gosh, look at this thing. Oh yeah, and that would be inappropriate. That would be inappropriate. Okay, so here are my options. I've got the Puff 2. So the Puff 2 has a total of 4,137 meters per second of delta V, which should be enough. And then I have the Terrier something something something. Terrier 1-A3. Ooh, this is more. And this will be able to, like the Puff 2 would have to come back to the runway. This can clearly land wherever. It does have parachutes on it. Okay. So what I'm thinking, I think this is the way to do it. This will get me into less trouble too. Is there an inventory slots in here? There are. There is one inventory slot here. I can do this from the cargo. I really only have one inventory slot. Not a lot. Okay, so we can put an antenna in there, right? Yeah, that works. And I could... I'm thinking of upping the storage capacity. It needs another. So we shall take Valentina's EVA pack away. Put a probe to, it won't work. Okay, shoot. Why is it only, oh, there's only the one, I gotta stick a storage thing on the side. Okay, let me think about this. I don't want to take both of them. I could take their parachutes away. No, I'm not gonna, no, let's not get stupid. Let's look at this cargo. I got, what's my lowest mass cargo container I got? I got this guy for a cargo container. If I stick, it's not expanding. Where's the thing? Fairing expansion mouse over. Yeah, why weren't you expanding before? It's just, yeah, it's just because of that. Okay, so I do have this cargo container. I can sneak that right in there. That gives me more cargo capacity. We can give Valentina back her EVA pack. She probably likes that. I was almost on the verge of taking away, but now I got room for the antenna, and I should have room for that little octo, right? No. Oh, look at that. Okay, so if I put that there, haha, there we go. And the reason why, can I not adjust its properties from here? Shoot. This is just temporary. I want to up the storage capacity. This is basically giving them an 80 megabyte hard drive for storing data. So I'm going to stick that there. That can go back on. We'll definitely check our staging. So I'm thinking there's still 4463 total delta V meters here. Delta V meters is a word. The staging can't be right. Why is that launch thrust weight so pitiful? That sure as heck can't be right. Like, this thing wouldn't get off the ground. How would I... Oh, I'm looking at the wrong... Oh my gosh. Don't worry about me. Okay, so there. I'm just checking staging. And then we got ants and terrier in there. And then that is for staging... No, that's not right. That needs to go together. That needs to go together. This... I am so... Oh, I think I know what's going on. I think I got it in action groups 5. Launch escape systems deployed with an action group. Okay, so that's why I took it. That's why it's... Yeah, that's making sense now why I didn't worry about where that was in the staging. I think this will be good. Okay, we're going to tweak up the TWR here just a little bit. Just like that. Nope, that's a little too much. There. All right, I'm thinking I'm gonna send these folks here. Now, who's gonna be my pilots here? I'm gonna need an engineer. I'm looking for an engineer I haven't used in a little bit. Joe O. Kerman, you're doing this. Valentina, you've been used a fair amount. Let's pick a pilot. And our pilot is going to be Javier O. Kerman. There we go. That is going to be our crew. So, what we need to do is, let's save this. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, this is. My streams never go 100% to plan. Yeah, this is a poor man's Soyuz is what this is. I'm seeing that in the chat. If I go to the tracking station, because we're going into a polar orbit, and because we got a rendezvous with the station, we have to launch when the KSC is underneath, or not a station, with a probe. So let's turn off the relays, turn on these probes. What we're interested in is Munar maps. Oh no, Kerbin mapsat. That's this one. So what we need to do is launch when we are under this orbit. So where is the KSC? I'm going to just time warp a little bit so we're just not doing this time warping while we're on the pad. And it looks like, well, we'll be at night for a little bit, it looks like. Doesn't it? Or we can go all the way around to the other side. Let's go all the way around to the other side. We don't want to, we're going to launch in the day. So we're going to come all the way around here to the other side. All right, we're going to get our Kerbals in there. Okay, exit out of here. Let's do it. Welcome to your death. Oh, no. This vessel has flown many times before. It's just been a little while. That's all. That's all. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be good. Oh my gosh, Bravos. That is going without comment. Okay, let's just check this one more time. So our crew is Javier and Joe. Our cargo is in place. We're going to install our hard drive and a new antenna. And Joe is an engineer, right? Because that would be a really dumb mistake to make. No. So we're going to do this. Let's do this. And it's two of our least valuable Kerbals, too. I shouldn't say that out loud. Alright, so we are ready to go here on this beautiful morning, and we are targeting you, my friend, right there. And so we're going to launch when we are underneath this orbit. We're getting pretty close. We also have to pay attention to the fact that the satellite is on its way north, so we are launching to the north as well. That would be a really, really bad mistake to make. And I'm not so much concerned where the satellite is going to be positioned. We'll figure that out once we're in orbit. And we do want to launch a little bit early because it's going to take us a couple of minutes to get up there. Maybe a little. There's no science to how much early to do. I'm going to do it a little more. There we go. We're going to do this. Okay, so we're going to run our launch script. We're going into a 90 kilometer orbit, 90 degree inclination, 80 kilometer parking orbit, normal orientation, and we're gonna go. Okie dokie, here we go. And we have not seen this thing fly for a long time, and that is a first. Okay, see, that's a first good step. We are going up. And things are good. I think the staging should all be good. It says with great confidence. This does have an abort system built right into the script that if this thing loses control, it should be ejecting these Kerbals. Notice the escape tower at the top for safety, because I value my Kerbals. Oh, Javier! Oh no! Javier is actually in the chat. I told you I shouldn't have said that out loud. You never know who's in the room. Oh dear. Okay, how are we doing here? We're doing well, I think. Our valued pilot, Javier. Joe, not so much. Okay. Yeah, I was talking about the script. I'm being asked again about the KOS script. I talked about them earlier in the stream and showed a little bit about it, but you have to, you write the program is really what it is. So it's a programming environment for KSP. If you really want just automated launches and all that stuff, the thing to do is to use McJeb. Now this thing should, I've yet to have the staging work right, but there's the KOS little thingy, so it should do the staging on its own. Okay. Let's back on these guys so we can track their health and everything. Notice this vessel has like a month of supplies. Holy cannoli. Could leave them up there for a while. I might have built it back, you know, when you get those contracts, leave a Kerbal up for so many days and all that kind of stuff, so you just fire them in a capsule and leave them up there for a while before you have a station. So that might be why it has so many supplies. As opposed to now, my orbiters tend to be more just kind of, you know, little they go from the surface up to a station. That's like their whole job. They don't actually go up to work so much. So I think this was a good choice. This was a good choice for what we're doing here. Okay, so at 50 kilometer altitude, we should be losing the fairing and our escape system. There we go. Oh, I don't... Oh, that's... Oh! Okay, again, it didn't stay. I gotta figure that out, why that's not staging. I think sometimes, you know how you sometimes get those, like, double stages? I think that's what's happening. I think the KOS is firing off a staging event, but then I gotta stage twice. And I don't quite know why. I've never quite figured out why that happens sometimes and doesn't happen other times. Anyway, we're off here. We got little, what's this, a Terrier on the back, and then just for a little bit of extra thrust, I have a trio of Ant engines. It's nice with these crewed spacecraft as well to have backup engines, because if the engine somehow fails, which can happen with Kerbalism, you have backup engines so you can at least deorbit them and get them back down to the surface. I like this thing. The memories of it are coming back to me. It's making me feel good. I like that it looks like a dumbbell. That, you know, the sort of shape of this echoes the shape of that. I like it. Okay, how are we doing here? We are apoapsis of 63 kilometers and climbing. Still a little ways to go. Check our orbit here. Should be... I launched a little early, maybe? Maybe a little early. We'll see. We'll see once we're in our final orbit. Well, you're very welcome. I'm glad my videos help. Okay, engine has cut off. Still got 1,500 meters per second left in this thing. Why? I'm trying to remember why I built something so beefy. This must have been more than just like, let's get into orbit. This must be a thing that I used to maybe fly around the moon, or I don't know. It just seems pretty extreme. And I'm noticing it does have RCS thrusters. That's a good thing. That's going to really help when we get when we have to navigate close to the satellite. I should have really looked for that before, but I'm glad to see them now. Okay, what do we got? Still 3 minutes to the burn. Let's get to that. How do I get the voices of the Kerbals? The Kerbal voices are coming from a mod called Chatterer. Yeah, it really adds a lot of atmosphere getting the little Kerbals to chat away on you like that. Okay, so we are going in for our final our insertion here. Some nice glowy lights below us. A little bit of an artificial line here at the Terminator, but oh well. Can't get everything. Okay, burn complete. What's our orbit? Our orbit sucks. That's your orbit? Really? Jeepers creepers. I don't know why it made such a bad orbit. Let's just do a little more here. There we go. That's a terrible orbit. I'm gonna... Oh, it shut down those end... Oh, I think I know what happened. Okay. Or maybe I don't. I don't know. I assume I had something automatically shut off these engines and keep them in reserve. Must have been some sort of a plan that I no longer understand, or some sort of a design feature. But in the meantime, let's orient this a little bit better for the solar panels. And let's think about getting ourselves out to our satellite here. So here, let's turn off extraneous details. Hey, that's not bad as far as the orbit goes. Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. I think I just hit the time warpy button by mistake somehow. Never had that happen before. That was weird. I think I put the node down and then clicked by mistake, the warp to node button. I can't say I've ever had that happen before. Okay, this is going to work out okay. Can already tell. Look at that. Okay, let's see if we can tweak that in a little bit. I went past it. Keep both of these visible. Oh, I probably have a bit of an inclination difference. That's why I'm getting the difference. Yeah, that is exactly why I'm getting the difference. I might not be able to get it as close as I would normally like. I saw 5.3, 4.7. We'll have to fix this up, but I think I have a slight inclination difference. It's a little hard to get the camera there. That is responsible for a little bit of that difference, but heck, we got like almost 1.5 kilometers per second of delta V. I don't think we have an issue when it comes to getting around with this thing, so I'm not worried about it. So let's just get this done. Why did you stop the time warp? Here, I'm gonna get rid of this. You no more. Why does it keep stopping? Oh, we got batteries. Oh my god. Mooner map sat bat. Oh, my bad. I did not make any adjustments to the batteries on the mapping satellite. I calculated how many batteries I would need for the satellite around Kerbin, but just kind of did the same thing for the for the satellite around the moon, and I maybe should have worked those out too. So it might not have batteries to make it through the night. Well, maybe I'll be sending some Kerbals out that way and putting some more batteries on it, but one thing at a time. This is going to be our mission for today. Okay. So I'm just getting ready. I'm going to start to burn a little early and just not go to full thrust. About now. Just keep this locked to prograde. You can do that. You're a good boy. Okay, I'm looking at that second intercept. We'll use a little RCS. Oh, and maybe overcook this a bit. Okay, I got 4.8 kilometers separation. My monoprop position situation. Oh my god, I should have plenty of monoprop. That shouldn't be an issue. Everything I do not know about this vessel is going to come back and bite me in the back end. I know it. Okay, so what I want to do is see if I can lower this separation a little bit with another maneuver about here-ish. So there should be, just see if I go this way. Oh, I'm going to have to give more. That makes it worse. That way's making it better. It's just a little maneuver here. Be a little radial. Little radial, mostly normal. I'm already at 0.1. There we go, 0 kilometers like that. So there was just a little bit of an inclination difference that's even difficult to see. Am I speaking about bread? Okay, I'm going to F5 again. Let's get to... Yeah, let's reduce the throttle here. Do this burn. Thankfully, I've got a high-end engine with a lot of ignitions on it, so that's good to see. I do think about some things. Okay, maneuver. Maneuver. And I do not know what the shielding's like on this. What? I just got a radiation warning. The HAB radiation is exactly the same as the environmental radiation, which tells me this thing has 0 shielding. Okay, so we're not going to stay up in space for too long. It's all good. It's all good. Oh, I'm noticing I'm on target already. Because, of course, the magnetic fields all dips in at the pole, so we're going to keep going in and out of these magnetic fields in our polar orbit. Okay. And again, this is just about reducing... Let's just get started. Just about reducing that intercept distance. A little bit of a normal correction here. And I got it. It was like 0.0. Finish this off with some RCS. Okay, 113 meters. I'm more than happy with that. Okay, and we're going to be there in 9 minutes. Okay, where is it? There you are. Still 32 kilometers away, so no rush. Done very little orbital construction. I'm getting that dumb glitch where this gets messed up when you time warp. Very, very annoying. Okay. Let's reduce a lot of this velocity here. Some funkiness with the Navball as we come over the poles. We have a high encounter speed, so I'm just getting that down nice and low. Looking at my time. One of the common comments I get from people are people that really struggle with this part of it and end up getting too far away from their target. And the key here is watching this distance. I'm noticing the distance here was getting up, so I'm going to stop. And see if just burning, I'm going to turn up this thrust here a bit more too. See if just burning in a different direction can get that to go down. Yep, that's getting it to go down. So keep an eye on this distance to target, like their closest approach distance, and keep an eye on this time, and make sure neither of those get up too high. And in Kerbalism, I do have to watch ignitions, but this thing has lots of ignitions, so I should be fine. Lots of ignitions even with backup engines, so I should be fine that way. How far away are we at? I can't see it in the clouds. 2.4 kilometers. Okay. Reduce some more of this speed. Keeping the distance, this time too, really close. Yeah. I do have trouble with the chats, especially when I'm concentrating on something like what I'm doing right now. So if I miss things in the chat, I do apologize. But sometimes I gotta think about what I'm doing here. Okay, we're coming in close. My day is going great, Kurt. I saw that earlier. Okay, let's see. And there is our Lamoid satellite. We're 16 seconds away now. I should really have... I gotta be a little careful here because I can't... Your exhaust can't... Oh, I got it within RCS distance now. That's cool. Your exhaust can't end up blowing this thing away. I have done that trick before, too. So I'm just going to snuggle in nice and close, and then we're going to get Joe out. Joe's going to see what he can do about improving this satellite. Don't want to come too close. Don't want to end up bumping into it. Hello there, satellite, who the engineers messed up, and now we have to come out here and fix it. Because certain people on the ground just can't seem to do their jobs right. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to bring this to a relative stop. I think, you know what, I think I really need to be close because I don't know if Joe can get the antenna into his inventory. Where's that? So I'm going to roll this craft so that the cargo container is pointing at the satellite right there. See that? You know what would have been a good thing to have too? Would be a good thing to have put on here would have been a little ladder part to give Joe something to hang on to. Where's the hatch? Oh, the hatch is on this side too, so at least that's something that seems like I might have thought about that, even though I didn't. Just want to get in nice and close. Okay, let's, not that one, that one. Okay, I think that's pretty good. All right, inventory. Let's get into here. Let's get, and Joe, who's our engineer, right? Yep. So we're going to take the satellite, put that in for the parachute. It won't let me do that. That's exactly what I was worried about. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to EVA. Here, let's open this up. Inventory. Let's put his parachute into here. EVA. I think we're going to bump into it any second now. And we're going to grab this. We're going to see if we can... Can he get... Oh, no, we got to go into... Silly. Did it do buildy mode? That's this one. Yes. There we go. So I don't need these. You just grab this, and it's just like in the VAB. Look at that. That's in. That's on. That's on. That's on. Can you do the same with this? No, there's nowhere to stick it. You can rotate it just like you do with the VAB. There. You don't need an engine no more? Okay. Get back inside here. Board. Can we get away? Okay. Okay, I think he got them on there. Let's switch over to the satellite. So I ended up sticking that probe body just over the engine, so it'll never ever fly again. But we can extend this antenna, and that should dramatically increase our data transmission capabilities. We're now transmitting at 305 bytes per second. I have no idea what we were transmitting at before. I didn't pay any attention. Can we retract these? And retract this one. And it still says 305. I think I made things better. We'll find out soon enough. We'll extend these again. It really doesn't matter. I was just seeing if it... I think the speed is just based upon what's the fastest antenna, which is this one. And then this guy should just act as a hard drive. We should now have... oh, well, look, the data size is it's at 100. 100% of the hard drive space is available. I think we did good. I think we did good. Is this still running? Oh, I think we did really good. I think we did good, boys. I think we got it. I think we have ourselves a much better functioning satellite. All right. Let's get them down to the surface. That's all there is to it. Where are we? Where are we? Now, I don't think I'm going to be going near the KSC. No, I am not. But this thing really, really does need... Here, what we're going to do... We're going to put ourselves in a different orbit than this thing. This thing's done. Orbit. There we go. I'm going to just lower my... That should be fine. Let's move this way a bit. A resource is stopped. The resource is stopped. Resource survey stopped. Thank you. There we go. I saw that in the chat. So the resource survey is stopped. Maybe I shouldn't be blowing out of here so quick. Look at data. So it's transmitting it. This is still at 100. I consider that to be encouraging. It must have stopped at some earlier time. Okay, we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. I just want to deal with these folks. So what I want to do is just get my periapsis down to 80. Oh, we can watch it from here anyway. Just I'll show you what I mean. If we go to here... I'm just watching two things at the same time, which is always dangerous. There we go. If we Kerbin maps that there, and I watch the data, we can now do some time warping. And what I'm really looking at is this 100% available business. And as we time warp towards our periapsis, I'm hoping that stays at 100. See how that's staying at 100 now? So it's transmitting it quick enough. I'm happy with that. I am very happy with that. Yeah, I think we fixed it. We fixed it. Now, what I do think is in trouble is I think my moon one is in trouble. I saw some sort of a warning come up, but I think its batteries are now... No, the batteries are at 24%. That's not a good sign. I only got 3 minutes of battery life left in this thing, because it's now in the night side. Okay, so we'll probably at some point be sending Kerbals out to get that too, because I'm a doofus. I should get into the automations for this. Let's just fix this real quick. So this is if the power gets low, we're going to turn off the experiments. And then when the power comes back on, we're going to turn back on the experiments. Because I'm an idiot. What else is new? Okay, back to you. Okay, retrograde. We'll circularize down here. Yeah, it spends way more time in the dark around the moon because it's going slower than it does around Kerbin. And I should have thought of that, but I didn't. Because before the stream, I worked out what batteries I needed for Kerbin and then didn't bother working it out for the moon. And I should have. But I didn't. No excuses. Just dumb. Okay. So, this is just making this 80 by 80-ish. And now we got to think about getting these folks down. Now, because of the shape of this thing, it is... Oh, it's the roundy cat. Yeah, I still want to put it down in the water. The last thing I want is for this thing to end up on a hill. And... yeah. So right now, I'm just going to time warp a little bit. I just too much of my orbit's over land where we are right now. So we're going to time warp a bit. These folks should be fine. I prefer not to come down at the night, but I'm looking like that might be distinctly in the cards. You know what? We can come down here. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I was thinking about time warping till the KSC came nearby, but then I'm going to be at night. I don't want to do that at night, but I've got a great big expanse of ocean coming up here. This is a good thing to go for. Here we go. We'll even put on trajectories, even though it won't give you a very yeah, we'll put on trajectories anyway. We're going to come down retrograde. We'll use trajectories to give us an approximation of where we'll end up coming down, but it doesn't give a very good approximation because we still have the whole service module attached to it. But as long as I end up in the middle of the ocean, everything's going to be fine. We will likely come short of that. Let's go a little, let's come, yeah. It'll not carry as far once we lose the service module. So if I come down just to about here, I'm happy with that. That's good. That's good. That can come off, 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 dump, dump, dump. Okay. Last stage. Coming down in this dusty old craft. Okay. Okay, it's gonna eject our service module out that way. And oh yeah, there's no okay, SAS off. There are no reaction wheels in this. Parachutes are armed. It should orient itself naturally in towards the retrograde. So we come over a pole here or something. Oh, yeah, it's all ice below us. Look at that. An Arctic descent. No more electricity in the Octo 2 Mooner Mapper because I didn't put enough batteries. Well, someday we'll have Kerbals in a polar orbit, in a station about the moon, and then it should be pretty trivial to get them to put some batteries on it. So Deep Space is saying one of the Kerbals has his name. I don't know which Kerbal you're referring to. Both of the Kerbals, other than the core 4, I name my Kerbals after Patreons and YouTube members. So that's where these names are coming from. So if you ever, when you see these names that are distinctly not Kerbal names, that's what's going on with that. But you know, this is looking like a pretty spectacular message or mission. What happened? These folks are on their way back after successfully upgrading our mapping satellite, putting on a new antenna and putting on a new hard drive. So that it seems to have very little trouble doing the job it was designed to do. These folks are landing down in the water as is intended. I think everything is looking pretty good. And fully deployed. Well, yeah, we dusted off this old craft. I have no idea when was the last time it flew, but it seems to have done its job. So really, really, really can't complain. I love the way, you see how there's like the, hope people can see this on their screens too, but the lights, now that we're in the atmosphere, you can actually see them like flashlights. Looks great. Sending very slowly. Alright, and you know what? I think with that successful mission, we didn't plan on having any Kerbals, but we ended up with Kerbals in our game nonetheless. But that's going to have me drawing this stream to a close. So I'm going to be thanking everybody in the chat, thanking everybody that are watching this at a later date. And of course, a very special thank you, as always, to my Patreon patrons and YouTube members. I'll be back at this next Thursday. We'll pick up where we left off. But in the meantime, have yourself a fabulous weekend, and we'll see you all again in a week. Bye, everybody.